Hello, hello, my friends. It has been almost 3 weeks since I have sat down in front of the camera to film. I am back from my wonderful vacation to New England and Canada. I'll share a little bit more about that with you guys at the end of this video. But today I figured that I would sit down and share with you guys what was waiting for me when I returned home this past Sunday. I had a couple of boxes of candles waiting for me. So I have my August caramel sundaes order is right here. I have a couple of extra large Kringle candles that I ordered prior to going on vacation. And then I also had some PR that was very kindly sent to me from Slatkin and Co. So I figured, you know what? Hauls are actually, they're kind of like, I would say my easiest videos to film, quite frankly, are candle reviews. But when it comes to sitting down in front of the camera, just sharing with you guys a haul is kind of a good way to kind of like get back into filming. I am, like I said, at the end of this video, going to give you guys a little bit of an update about what you might see from my channel over the next week, week and a half. I don't even want to categorize it as like a life update because that sounds so dramatic. It's not that. It's just to kind of let you guys know what's going on in my life and how that might be affecting my channel. So if you're curious to hear about that, stay tuned to the end of this video. But if you like this video, please make sure you hit a thumbs up button. Warm welcome to any new viewers. Hi, I'm Katie. I love to talk all things candles on my channel. I do hauls like this. I do dedicated reviews. I do empties. I do a bunch of stuff here when it comes to candles. So if you like that kind of, if you like fragrance content, feel free to hit that subscribe button. As always, all of the candles that I'm talking about today, I will have listed in the description box down below with any other relevant information as to like where to purchase them, as well as any kind of affiliate discount codes that I have. So I think I covered that. You're probably going to want to strap in for this. I hope it's not too turbulent of a ride because, like I said, I haven't filmed in a couple of weeks and I might be a little bit rusty. So I think I'm going to go ahead and start out with my Kringle haul to share with you guys. Now, I have 3 extra large candles. They're 4-wick candles that I recently purchased while they were 30% off. I'm not sure if that sale is actually, I doubt that sale is still going on because I feel like I ordered these, gosh, at this point now, it was probably 3.5 weeks ago, maybe almost 4 weeks ago. But they did have some of their 4-wick fall fragrances on about 30% off, which you guys, this 4-wick format, I'm just going to be honest with you guys, this is now my go-to favorite format for the Kringle fragrances that I really, really love. I just feel that they project a little bit better. They fill up my open concept space. I've just had pretty consistent performance from these 4-wicks. So yeah, I was excited that they went 30% off. We know that they released these last year, this format, and for a while there, they weren't going on any kind of good sales, but we're starting to see every once in a while they go for about 30% off. So also, if you happen to be following me over on Instagram or if you're active in the Kringle Facebook group, then you guys might know that while I was in New England, I did take a trip to the Kringle store. I visited in person. It was a lovely, lovely time. I am actually going to have an entirely separate dedicated video about that because Cody was really good about taking some B-roll. And I did also purchase some candles while I was in store. Oh man, you guys, there were some candles that I was ecstatic to come across because like some of my like all-time favorites I found in the store. But anyways, those are being shipped to me as we speak. I did politely ask them to delay shipping them until I would return home because I just didn't want to risk the candles sitting out in the hot Arizona sun. So those are on their way to me. And when I get those in, they're, I think, supposed to arrive sometime next week. I will make sure that I compile that video for you guys. So yeah, like I said, we're a little bit turbulent here. I'm going to be all over the place. But let me share with you guys the extra large candles that I purchased from Kringle prior to my vacation, starting with one that I've actually already burned. It is the fragrance Kittens and Cashmere. Now, this is one of the fragrances that was launched in their fall 2024 lineup. And you guys all know I am a sucker for cats. I am a cat person. I love cats. My mom was a crazy cat lady. Cody has limited me to 1 cat at a time. And honestly, our cat Ruby is 13 years old. We've had her since she was a kitten, and she is extremely territorial. She's a female ginger. very, very territorial. So there is no chance that we will have another cat while she is still with us. But she's a great cat. Fragrance notes on Kittens and Cashmere are ozone, herbal, green, fir needle, eucalyptus, mint, herbal, and amber musk. It says amber musk. Okay, so last year when this fragrance came in, I'm going to try to pull this lid off here. You guys, these are a little bit trickier to pull off. Last year when this candle arrived, I had said this and I still stand by this. This fragrance to me, if you tend to like Bath and Body Works sweater weather, this is going to be the fragrance you're going to want to pick up from Kringle. If you're trying to make that transition, maybe if you're not happy with Bath and Body Works recently, or you're wanting something that's maybe a little bit cleaner burn or 100% soy wax, this is the fragrance to go to with Kringle. Now, the difference with this, it's not an exact dupe, because the other thing that I do note in here, this is slightly mintier, I would say. If you are familiar with their fragrance Winter Woods, it has like they're in like a snow-covered wood, and there's Cody says it's a stag. He thinks it's a stag, but like there's like some type of deer in the woods. If you've ever had that fragrance, it's very outdoorsy and fresh, but it's got a very distinct minty note to it. So I feel like this fragrance to me is like if Winter Woods and Bath and Body Works sweater weather had a baby, this is what they would come up with. Now this fragrance, I particularly love burning this time of year. Mostly, it sounds funny, I like burning this when I feel like my home just needs to smell fresh. Maybe there are some lingering cooking odors. I do have an air purifier that helps take care of that, but sometimes I just want this. I just want this to be burning after there's been like a really savory meal cooked. It kind of just like, it kind of does, I feel like what lemon does in the spring and summer, where it just kind of gives that like fresh, clean home vibe, but in a fall way. I don't know. I feel like I'm describing it too much, but this is a beautiful fragrance. And again, I love this packaging because of the kitten on there. So this is actually a repurchase for me. In fact, I was originally sent that candle in PR, and I think that I repurchased maybe 2 or 3 maybe 3 wicks, I feel like, of this. And then this year I was like, yeah, I need another one. I want it in the 4 wick. And then another 4 wick that I decided to purchase. It's kind of funny. I had this in a 2 wick when it was first released. I feel like this fragrance came out in, was it December 2023, January 2024? I think. This was a candle that was released there were just 2 fragrances that were released in it. And this was a wintertime candle, and I had it in the 2 wick, and I liked the fragrance, but it wasn't very strong in the 2 wick. But the more that I smell this, I still had a daylight of it, and I was like, I really like that fragrance. And it is the scent Cozy and Warm. So Cozy and Warm has fragrance notes of fresh brewed coffee, foamed milk, cinnamon, vanilla, sweet cream, heliotrope, and musk. Now this one to me, this is a coffee fragrance, but there's a little bit of creaminess in the background. You get a tiny little bit of that spice. It's not red hot cinnamon or anything like that here. This is a very nice creamy coffee type of fragrance. It's not a dark, rich, robust, bold coffee. This is more of maybe like a medium roast type of coffee to my nose. But you've got like a sweet creaminess going on with it. Yeah, with the foamed milk, cinnamon, vanilla, sweet cream. So that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, there's a sweet, like the sweet cream and the milk and whatnot. It doesn't come across lactonic because I don't like lactonic fragrances. But this one is so good. And you know what's funny? When I was in the Kringle store, I actually thought, you know what I want to burn with this is the other fragrance that was released with this in the 2 wicks. I want to say it's like, is it knitted sweaters? Cozy knit sweaters, something like that. There was one that was released with it, and I thought, ooh, I feel like those would pair really nicely with each other. So yeah, I decided to go ahead and get Cozy and Warm. This is a fragrance that I feel like I will be burning more so like after the holidays, when the weather's kind of cold outside. I mean, granted, Arizona, cold weather to us. Honestly, in January, we sometimes get weather like the mornings can be like in the 20s and 30s, very, very early in the morning. So I still do want like, you know, something kind of cozy and warm. And then the last fragrance that I went ahead and picked up, nobody will be surprised to see me get this in a 4 wick because I'm already almost done with my 3 wick, and I've purchased a couple of varieties of this. This is Warm and Toasty. We have fragrance notes of cedar, smoke, sweet, marshmallow, amber, and sugar. This was also released in the fall of 2024. And I love this one, you guys. This one definitely has more of like an ambery note to it. Yeah, you get the sweet marshmallow. There's a smokiness to it. I really, really love this fragrance. It pairs really nicely with a lot of other scents. I've been burning my 3-wick with Bourbon Bonfire. I've also been burning it with the new Ghost Stories, which I wanted to give you guys just a quick little update on Ghost Stories. Here's the funny thing. I remember Ghost Stories, I said like it's in the same like category as Bath & Body Works Marshmallow Fireside, although it's not a dupe. And the more that I have burned it, you know what I think it smells like? If you happen to have Maison Margiela's By the Fireplace perfume, that's what it smells like when it's burning. Again, similar category, sweet kind of sweet fireplace type of scent, like sweet, hearthy, somewhat smoky, but not like really like you're sitting by a campfire smoky. That's what it smells like. So if you did not get your hands on the first round of Ghost Stories, I do know that they're going to be repouring more and they should be available in early October. That is the plan right now. That I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update. That is what Ghost Stories is smelling like to me, more so even than Bath & Body Works Marshmallow Fireside. So wanted to give you that update. But Ghost Stories pairs really nicely with the Warm and Toasty. And again, this is a fragrance that I feel like I can burn starting now with fall burning season, and I can burn that one all the way throughout the winter throughout the winter. So that is my Kringle haul. Let's go ahead and switch gears over to caramel sundaes. So caramel sundaes, I did end up only purchasing 3 candles this go around. I know, you guys, I really reined it in, to be honest with you guys, because I have a lot of fall fragrances. And you guys know, if you've been with me any length of time this year, I've kind of been on a journey of trying to make sure that I am enjoying fragrances that I have loved for a long time, with the balance of trying to find new fragrances to review and share with all of you guys. And so I was looking in my collection and I was like, I have so many fall fragrances that I am wanting to burn this season. And so I kept it under control. I'm going to pick up my little handy dandy sheet here that has the fragrance notes. So the first fragrance that I picked up was a 40 ounce. I told you guys that I was planning to repurchase this, and I did. It is the fragrance Coffin Cake. Now, Coffin Cake has fragrance notes on it of top notes of pumpkin spice, brown sugar and frosting, mid notes of cinnamon and clove, base notes of butter, cream, vanilla, and nutmeg. I have actually already finished a 2-wick of this. I do have a dedicated review of that. I don't believe that this one is coming back this year, but if they ever do bring it back, you guys, this is a beautiful spice cake fragrance. Oh, I just love this one. Now, I am somebody who I like spice. I know that there's people who don't like that. This is just such a good gourmand. I feel like this again is another fragrance that can carry me all throughout fall and winter. I could even possibly, if you're somebody who is not a seasonal burner, you're more of a mood burner, or you like good spicy gourmands, then this could be a year-round scent. I have actually been pairing this with a candle that I'm burning right now, which is apple truffle. They're bringing that back in a 2-wick. I have it in a 4-wick. You guys, really, really good. But this also pairs really nicely with Kringle's apple rum cake. I really liked burning it with that. I find that this Coffin Cake, I really like burning it with either nice pumpkin scents or the apple fragrances. But yeah, I did go ahead and get a 4-wick of Coffin Cake. I lit it up and burned it one time yesterday. Performed beautifully for me. This is a very, very, it's a good, strong performing candle for me. I would give it a solid 8.5 in terms of strength and throw just on that first burn with the 4-wick. And Kringle too, but Caramel Sundaes is one of those brands because they are 100% soy wax formula. I do find that they usually take about 3 burns to really come into like the fullness of their strength and throw. But for that one in the 4-wick on the first burn to already be performing at like an 8, I'm hoping that that one will really be a powerhouse once I get it going. The other fragrance that I did decide to pick up, I actually initially had this on my wish list in a 4-wick, but then I was like, you know what, Katie, let's scale back here and let's get this in a 2-wick. It is the fragrance Witching Hour. So Witching Hour has fragrance notes of cranberry, musk, pralines, top notes of cranberry and musk, mid notes of pralines, base note of icing and ginger cookie. Now, here's the thing. I like this one quite a bit. I've talked about this numerous times, how I love the way that Caramel Sundaes does cranberry. It's perfectly balanced between holding the tartness and the sweetness that a good cranberry would have. Um, it's a beautiful cranberry. I will say when this one is burning, I think the note that sometimes there's something about this, it might be the ginger cookie mixed with the praline, that it almost starts to come across, I'm trying to put it this way, like almost too tart for me, for my personal taste. Now, do I like it and will I continue to burn it? Absolutely. It's not like, oh, I don't like it. But I will say that I think I prefer Autumn Jam, which is a different fragrance. It's coming back in the September 14th restock. I think I prefer that take a little bit more. I think that there's something, I think it's the ginger cookie aspect in here, that when this is burning and it comes out, it's almost too, it's kind of like, it's almost too tart sweet for me. That's the best way that I can describe it. But I do like this fragrance. I don't, at this point, after 2 burns, I'm not sure that it's one that I love the fragrance enough that I would be clamoring to repurchase it. So I'm kind of glad that I only purchased it in a 2-wick. Now, I did have this burning in my Hurricane this morning, and it was performing quite well. I would say it was probably about a 7. And again, that was only the 2nd burn. So this one did pretty well. But that is Witching Hour. And then the last fragrance that I purchased, and it is actually returning in the 4-wick on the September 14th restock. And I have a feeling I'm going to go ahead and buy it in the 4-wick because this is the fragrance Fall Cider. Fall Cider has fragrance notes, top notes of spiced cider, mid notes of tart apple and caramel, base notes of warm brown sugar and clove. And this fragrance, I did ask, I said, is this supposed to be a dupe for Bath & Body Works Cider Lane? It is. What I remember Cider Lane being, this is what I'm smelling in here. It's just that good caramel apple, but there's a little bit of spice in there. You get some of that clove. The caramel is done really well in here too. It's the caramel that's like, I would say it's almost like the caramel chews that you would get. So I would call it like cheaper caramel, which I don't mean that as a slight at all. I'm just saying that like it reminds me of like the little square caramels that you can unwrap, and that's the type of caramel note that I smell in here, which I like because truthfully, like caramel scents that are very, very authentic can sometimes lean a little bit scorched to my nose when they're burning. So I haven't burned this one yet, but I am very excited to do so. And if I like this one upon burn, I definitely see myself wanting to get a 4-wick in the September 14th restock because this is, Cider Lane is one of my all-time favorite fragrances from Bath & Body Works for the fall. And I'm so happy that Caramel Sundays has an option for it. So that was my Caramel Sundays haul for this last month. Like I said, it wasn't a big giant haul, but that's okay. And then let me go ahead and share with you guys really quickly what Slatkin & Co. sent over in PR to me. They sent over quite a few things, and it was just really kind of them. So they did send over some body care to me, which I'm actually pretty excited that they're kind of like delving out in this. So I think I had shown you guys for Christmas in July, they sent me some body scrubs. There was like was it like gingerbread cookie and an iced sugar cookie? And they just sent another body scrub in the fragrance Spiced Vanilla Pumpkin, which I have had this fragrance in a candle before, and I really, really like this scent. It's just a beautiful, kind of spicy, slightly creamy pumpkin scent. Yeah, this one's a good one. And then they also sent that fragrance to me in their shower gel, which this is, how much is this? 34 fluid ounces. It's a 1 liter of their shower gel. So that's pretty impressive. And then I am going to say that probably the most exciting thing that I like when they send it to me in their body care lineup is the gel hand soap. I really, really like the HOMEWORX hand soaps. They clean pretty well. They last a good amount of time. These are 22 fluid ounces. I have a couple of these that I ordered. I think I ordered it in the Making Spirit Spice and Winter Fireside. I have those for like more of the winter season, but I am excited to have gotten this one in PR, and I actually could see myself placing an order pretty soon for some more hand soaps from them because I do really like the HOMEWORX hand soaps. I'm going to have to take a look on the website to see what fragrances they are offering. Like I said, I've been a little bit out of the loop because I've been on vacation, but I do really like their hand soaps, and so I was very glad when they offered to send this to me. I was like, sure, I'll try it out. And I'm excited to start trying these body washes and the body scrub. So very kind of them to send those to me. And then they did send me a Reed diffuser in the fragrance Witch's Spell. I have never had Witch's Spell before. I think it's one that's pretty popular though. Witch's Spell has fragrance notes of black apple, autumn pear, cinnamon, and caramel. Ooh, that smells delicious. It says, fall under the spell of a black apple that is infused with autumn pear, cinnamon, and caramel, creating a spellbinding experience. Now, I am going to tell you guys, these Reed diffusers, for me personally, I don't really use Reed diffusers in my home just because the layout of my home, I don't feel like these fill up the space enough for, like I said, the layout of my home. And I tend to like to use candles to fragrance my home. I like to switch things up a little bit too much. But I am going to tell you, you know how I use these the best? This is going to sound funny. I actually place these. My family vehicle is, I drive a larger SUV, and I like to place this in my Expedition. And then it's a great air freshener, you know, inside the Expedition. I'll usually place this in like one of the cup holders. It doesn't fall over. Thankfully, I'm beyond the phase with my children where they're too wild and squirrely. Like everybody kind of just gets in and sits down and minds their business. So yeah, I do like to put these into my vehicle to use it as an air freshener. So I have a feeling that's how I'm going to use this one. In fact, later on today, I'm planning to take my car through the car wash because it's looking a little bit disastrous and it needs a car wash. So Witch's Spell came in a Reed diffuser, and then they were kind enough to send me 3 candles. So one is a 4-wick and it's a new fragrance. This is the fragrance Dark Harvest. We have fragrance notes here of midnight blackberry, glowing amber, crushed cardamom, and musk. This has a pour date of April 5th, 2025. And this fragrance, you guys, I actually kind of like this. This is kind of in that vein. If you like their Palo Santo pumpkin, I think that you might like this one. It's kind of still got that like kind of deep, slightly like smoky, resinous vibe going on. Now it's not pumpkin in here, but what did they say? Midnight blackberry. Like this is not an overly fruity. I think it's the glowing amber and the crushed cardamom and the musk that are, yeah, they're giving this to, like, it's giving a little bit more of like a smoky vibe, but it's not campfire smoky. It's more like the smoky vibe that you would get from a Palo Santo. Yeah, that's what mine is smelling like. I actually like this. I think it'll be a good like evening burn. Now, when I stick my nose in the wax, I get a tiny bit more of that blackberry, but this is a very like deep autumnal fruit, but it's not overly fruit. That fruit note is very much in the background. This to me is very like, it's musky, kind of falls in the vein. If you tend to like from the Kringle collection, like if you like the, if you like, what's the fragrance I'm thinking of? Sleepy Hollow, how it's got kind of like this like smoky, almost incensey type of note. That's what I feel about this one. It's good. It's good, but it's not overly like hippie smoky. This one's hard to describe. I would say that if you like fragrances, like if you like their Palo Santo pumpkin, I think you're going to like this one. Again, it's a different fragrance, but I feel like it's in the same family. I do like this. I do like this a lot. Also, I think the other fragrance that if you recently tried from the trio, I have to do dedicated post burns on it. The fragrance, it's funny that I didn't really care for on cold sniff, but when it's burning, I'm really enjoying it, is that mahogany pumpkin. It's in a 3-wick from the QVC trio. If you like that mahogany pumpkin, I think you would like this one too. It's just, it's a nice evening burn type of scent. So that is one that I'm excited to get to burning. And then here, they sent me 2 of these 3-wicks, which are in these beautiful vessels. Now I've had HOMEWORX candles in these vessels in the past. We're talking maybe like 5-6 years ago when they've had them as QVC trios. This one is the fragrance Black Pumpkin Woods. We have pumpkin puree, black plum, mulled spices, and charred firewood. Now here's the thing, you guys. This one actually has a pour date date, by the way, of it looks like June 12th, 2024. So this has been sitting for about a year and a little over a year. Okay, here's the thing about this one. I had this candle in the hand soap and I really liked it in the hand soap. But what I'm smelling on cold, I don't think I like. I think it's the charred plum or charred firewood with the plum note in here that my nose is just kind of like, I don't know what to think about that. Like, I'm not really getting any pumpkin. Like, something about this almost smells like, it says mulled spices, charred firewood, black plum. Something about this on cold. It sounds weird. It almost like, kind of smells like mothballs or something like old and decaying. I don't know. I am going to burn it because we all know sometimes fragrances can completely transform when they're burning. Just like I said, that mahogany pumpkin, I didn't think I was going to like, and then I burning it and I'm like, oh, I actually really like that. So I am going to give this a try. I hope that it surprises me. But it's funny because I did have it in the hand soap and I really liked it in the hand soap format last year, but for some reason, I'm not loving it so much on cold sniff here with the candles, but I do love this packaging. I think this packaging is beautiful. It's great to repurpose to like hold candies or whatnot. And then the other fragrance that they sent to me also in that beautiful packaging is the fragrance Spooky Vanilla. I don't know if I mentioned these are 3 wicks. They're not 4 wicks. We have fragrance notes on Spooky Vanilla are vanilla, caramel, dark woods, and musk. This also has a pour date of June 14th, 2024. This one I like better. This vanilla is, I've mentioned sometimes like how some vanillas, they lean a little bit more body care vanilla, and that's what I feel like this one does. It's a very clean, pretty vanilla, slightly perfumey. It's not overly gourmand. Do I smell a little bit of caramel in there? Yeah, but the caramel is lending some like element of sweetness to this. It's not overly scorched or buttery. It's not like the same caramel note that I was picking up in that fall cider. We all know Harry loves his caramel scents, and he does tend to blend caramel with a lot of his vanilla scents. If you ever look at a lot of the vanilla fragrances, in fact, even this, what is it? This spiced vanilla pumpkin has fragrance notes of pumpkin, warm caramel, vanilla bean, ginger. A lot of the time when there's a vanilla note, Harry does pair some caramel in there because I think caramel gives it a little bit more oomph. But this I also get some, it says like dark woods and musk. It's not overly woody. The musk gives it a little bit of like a perfuminess. The dark woods are kind of more, how do I put this? Like, they're not overly woody, smoky, resinous. I wouldn't smell this and say like, oh, that reminds me of dark woods. They almost remind me of like something slightly deeply fruity. But I like this one. It's a very pretty vanilla. I did burn this yesterday for the first time in my daughter's room. First burn wasn't anything too impressive in terms of strength and throw, so I am going to have to give it a few more burns. It is a vanilla fragrance. We know that vanillas do struggle sometimes, but it's funny. It's not the same fragrance, but if you happen to have purchased from the Boo Crew collection, the Boo Hoo scent, I feel like this vanilla is kind of in that same category. This one is not as warm and this one's not as warm as I would say Boo Hoo is. But yeah, this one's kind of more of just like a clean girl vanilla. I feel like that's the best way that I could describe it. I do like the fragrance. I think it's a good blender, but this is not an overly gourmand vanilla. So if you're hoping that this would be like a super like cakey buttercream type of vanilla, it's not that at all. It's more perfumey, clean type of vanilla to my nose. So that is it in terms of all of the fragrances that or the candles, body products that were waiting for me. Like I said, I will make sure to get a video filmed and share with you guys all about my experience at Kringle and share that haul with you guys. Hopefully by next weekend, I will be able to do that for you guys. So wanted to peel back the curtain and let you guys know my trip was absolutely fantastic. We were gone August 13th through the 24th. So I was gone for like a total of 11 days. The 2 bookend travel days were like full travel days. So we actually, Cody and I were going on that trip to you know, kind of just celebrate our 19th wedding anniversary. The 13th, it started out pretty early because while we were going to Boston, my kids, I have 3 kids. If you are new to my channel, they are 16, 13, and 11. We put them on a plane to stay with my sister in Southern California. They had a great time with her. So we had a very, very early morning the day that we left because I had to get them on their flight. I wanted to make sure they landed, you know, before we got on ours. Everything went off perfectly fine with that. We got to Boston, and it was incredible. You guys, I've never been to that area of the country. I've never been to the Northeast. You guys, I grew up in Southern California. I've lived in Arizona. I have always lived in more arid, dry places, and Southern California has a lot of beauty to it. Arizona, to some degree, has its beauty. I'm going to be honest. I don't find the desert all that beautiful. You guys, flying into New England, I was like, oh my word, there's so much water and it's so green. Like, it's green here. Like, look at all the trees. And I love history. I 100% fell in love with Boston. So we got in on Wednesday evening, went down. We were staying in the Seaport District, which I've been told is a little bit newer area of Boston. We went down, got something to eat, went to bed pretty early because we had been up since pretty early. The next day, we hit the ground running. We walked from our hotel to downtown Boston. We did the Freedom Trail. We walked the whole thing. I think I had a total of like 24,000 steps that day. We just had a fantastic time taking it all in. Friday, we rented a car and we drove out to Kringle. And that was just such a beautiful experience. It was about a 2-hour drive from Boston, which again, it didn't bother us because we were just taking in the scenery. It looks so different from where we are from. Spent the day out there. And again, I'll make an entirely separate video about that, but oh my goodness, it was so beautiful. And my experience there was just so great. And then we, you know, made our way back to Boston, back to our hotel. You know, we dropped off the rental, got back to our hotel. Saturday, we actually got on a cruise ship. We were sailing on the Majestic Princess from Princess Cruise Lines, and we sailed up to our itinerary was we stopped in Portland, Maine. I got to let you guys know, Cody, everywhere we went, fun fact, I actually don't like seafood, but Cody loves seafood. So everywhere he went, he had to get a lobster roll everywhere. He said the best one he got was in Portland, Maine. So we stopped in Portland, Maine, and then we went to St. John, New Brunswick, and then Halifax, Nova Scotia. Just loved those ports. We were scheduled to go to Sydney, Nova Scotia as well. However, that port we ended up extending our stay. The ship ended up staying a little bit later on the day in Halifax because they ended up not taking us to Sydney. Apparently, they said we would have gotten to Sydney perfectly fine, but we only had one sea day to get back from Sydney to Boston. And they said that it would have been a little bit too risky because at that point the seas were being affected by the remnants of Hurricane Erin, and our captain basically said, I don't want to be traveling at 22 knots in 30-foot seas, which I appreciate because that would be a rather uncomfortable rocky ride coming back on the cruise ship. So our captain and the cruise line made the decision to just stay a little bit later in Halifax that night. We ended up making our way back. Instead of going to Sydney, we started making our way back to Boston, kind of went and hung out in the Bay of Fundy for a little bit, and then they brought us back down to Boston. So we ended up having another sea day, which I never mind. I love sea days on cruises. They're very relaxed. Lots going on the ships. So we had a great time. We got back to Boston on Saturday. Cody and I walked off the ship. We took an Uber to our hotel that we were going to be staying at that night, dropped our bags, and then took another Uber over to North Station, hopped on the train, went up to Salem, had a wonderful time experiencing that historic town, got on the train, came back, went and found ourselves a wonderful Italian lunch in the North End, and then we ended up walking to Beacon Hill. We just find that city to be very, very walkable. It was very clean. We felt very safe. So if you are somebody who lives in the Boston area, I just want to say thank you for hosting people there. It was just incredible. All of the history. And I really, really fell in love with the city. I said, I want to come back. I said, I wanted to bring our oldest daughter, and my husband's like, don't bring her. She'll want to move here. And I was like, well, that's probably true because I want to move here. I loved it. Everybody tells me, they're like, it's tricking you. It's tricking you. Winter is awful. And I'm like, yeah, but summers in Arizona are pretty awful too. But that being said, I've never had to shovel snow or whatnot. So who knows? I guess the grass is always greener on the other side. So we had a fantastic trip. Ended it on, well, Saturday. Then we went back to the hotel, just kind of put our feet in the hot tub because, again, we walked a lot and my feet were feeling it a little bit. And then we got up very, very early on Sunday morning and caught our flight coming back to Phoenix. And I just have to say, I was very relieved that I had purchased the Wi-Fi on the in-flight Wi-Fi, because when we were about 35,000 feet over the state of Missouri, I got a text message from my 16-year-old saying, Mom, our boarding pass says that this flight is taking me to Las Vegas. And I immediately thought, what on earth? I looked up my thing. Well, initially when I had bought my kids tickets back to Phoenix. So the way that we had planned this, you guys, was that my kids were flying back as we were flying back. Their flight it's only an hour from Burbank to Phoenix. And they were supposed to land about 20 minutes before our flight from Boston was supposed to land. So we were supposed to, kind of have that coordinated. Well, Southwest apparently just got rid of the direct flight that I had purchased for my kids, didn't even bother to notify us, and decided that that was now going to be a one-stop flight. So they ended up sending my 3 children to Las Vegas. They had a 2-hour layover there, and then they got on the plane to Phoenix. Again, thankfully, my 16-year-old is pretty responsible, and the other 2 are pretty good as well. But I was just like, wow, that's the place where I really want my 3 kids to go hang out for 2 hours, is Vegas. I was like, oh my goodness. So everything ended up being fine. But like I said, I was really glad that I had purchased that Wi-Fi, because could you imagine if I would have gotten off the plane at Sky Harbor and been like, where are my children? Oh, they're in Vegas right now, which is where they were when we landed in Phoenix. So anyways, all of that, it all ended up working out. But wanted to give you guys just a little bit of an update about what to expect from my channel. I know I touched on this in my last haul video a couple of weeks ago when I said, I was going to take some time off. This video, the reason why I filmed it today was because I had all of these candles sitting in a box to film, and I'm ready to put them away. My kids are now all officially back to school. We are starting to get into that busy season. My kids' after school activities are starting again. My oldest swims for her high school swim team. My youngest is starting to play soccer. Just all the things, we're getting back into the swing of things. And this is the time of year where I find myself once again wanting to do a little bit of like a deep clean of my house. Truthfully, you guys, before I left for my vacation, I wasn't feeling super well. If I can be honest, I was dealing with kind of like some lingering illness, and if I can be honest, a lot of anxiety about being away from my kids for 11 days. You know how that is. Like, love my kids, know that I needed to go on a good trip, but just all those things. So I was dealing with some anxiety. And my home, I didn't leave my home in the normal state that I like to leave it before I go on a vacation. So now that I am home, I'm finding myself feeling like I need to catch up. I'm trying to stay up to date on all of the laundry. There's a lot of things that just need to be put away and decluttered. And again, things in my home that just really need to be deep cleaned, I feel like, prior to going into the very busy fall. And before we blink and know it, we will be in the holiday season. And I kind of want to like have like a reset of my home. So now that the kids are all back in school, it's easier to clean out things when your kids are not around. I'm wanting to do that. So all of that to just be said, that over the next week, I'm going to take the time to do that. I'm going to be prioritizing doing that here in my home. So you guys will probably, I'm just going to be honest, I'm probably not going to get around to doing an empties or my collection update, which I normally do. And even some of the like candle reviews, I'm going to do my very best to make sure that I get the Caramel Sundays fragrances that I have in my collection already and that are going to be part of the September 14th restock. I will prioritize trying to get some reviews out for that. But all of that said, you guys, I am going to be taking the next week to really be doing a deep clean, a reset of my home. And that means that I am probably not going to be prioritizing filming content for my channel. So again, this video is up, but you might not see another video from me for about another week and a half, possibly. It just depends. It depends on how long it takes me to get all of these little projects done around the house. But I wanted to let you guys know I'm okay. There's nothing going on other than I'm just trying to get back in the groove here. So I hope you enjoyed this video, you guys. Like I said, even it's kind of, I have this weird feeling right now because I love my channel. I love the interaction that I have with all of you guys. But I'm also feeling like I need to just prioritize some things around the home. But I really did want to sit down and just quickly film this. This isn't a very quick video, but I wanted to film this before I put everything away to just at least say like, hi, I'm still here. But just give you guys a little bit of an update and share with you guys some of these fragrances. So let me know in the comment box down below if any of these candles are part of your favorites or in your collection. Let me know how they burn for you. Do you live in the Northeast? Are you lucky enough to live up there? Oh my goodness, you guys, it's just absolutely stunning up there. I'm so envious of all of the beauty up there. So let me know. I know that there are a few of you guys who do. You guys frequently comment and say that you live in that area. And I just want to let you guys know I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed visiting in that region of the country. And I definitely hope to be back one day, maybe not this year, but maybe next fall. We can become leaf peepers over there. But absolutely stunning. Cody actually loved it a lot too, which kind of surprised me because he's not really a city person. But he says if we return, he would like to explore a little bit more of some of the regions around there where he could do like some fishing and stuff like that. So fun times. All right, I am starting to ramble, which means that it is time for me to go. Again, please hit thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing if you are new. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.